everybody. So we'll spin the wheel. Our first monologue will be performed by Maggie. Maggie, which wheel would you like me to spin?
I think I will be a man today.
Okay, so we'll spin the male only wheel. Okay, so Maggie is going to be performing. Oh, welcome, Paul. Paul just joined us. I know a bank with a wild time was Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 2, Scene 1, about 258 lines in. Let's see. So Midsummer Night's. I'm sorry, I was not Puck. It's Oberon. It's Oberon giving instructions to Puck to get the flower with which he's going to cast the spell that sets everything in motion.
Is it kind of relatively short? Like
I believe it is relatively short.
Because I just put in the first line and a monologue came up without having to scroll through the play. So it looks like it's only about 20 lines.
Okay, so
I'll try it.
Whenever you're ready, go ahead and get started.
Okay. Let me just move one little thing. All right. I know a bank where the wild thyme blows, where oxlips and the nodding violet grows, quite over canopied with luscious woodbine, with sweet musk roses and with eglantine. There sleeps Titania sometime of the night, lulled in these flowers with dances and delight. And there the snake throws her enameled skin, weed wide enough to wrap a fairy in. And with the juice of this, I'll streak her eyes and make her full of hateful fantasies. Take thou some of it and seek through this grove. A sweet Athenian lady is in love with a disdainful youth. Anoint his eyes, but do it when the next thing he espies may be the lady. Thou shalt know the man by the Athenian garments he hath on. Effect it with some care, that he may prove more fond on her than she upon her love. And look thou meet me ere the first cock crow.
Okay, awesome. So just as we were spinning, we got Paul joined us, and so did Henry. So we're glad that they made it back and are going to join us as well. So let me go ahead and put the wheel back on. I've added Paul's name, and then Henry just joined us, so let me put his name back on the wheel. Okay, so our next performance will be by or Shelia. Shelia looks like.
Right.
Okay, Shelia, which wheel would you like to spin?
Give me non-gender specific, and I'm struggling here with a new camera, so if things go out, don't be surprised.
Okay, so Shelia is going to be performing Honor is a nearest section.
Part 1.
Part 1, Act 5, Scene 1, at the very end, after Hal tells him, you owe God a death. You're going to wheels your way out of that.
Okay. I have found the scene. I am not familiar with it, so we'll see how this goes. Is this after Henry exits? Tis not.
Yes, after Henry exits.
Okay. Do you have context for me?
Yeah, I believe it's the battle. It's his comedic monologue about what a coward he is. You know, a braggart and a coward. He's talks so tough, and now they're about to fight, and now of course he's trying to weasel his way out. And Hal tells him, well, you owe God a death, and you're gonna.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, but it's not due yet.
I'm with you there. All
Yeah.
righty. I'm ready to go.
That's the context. You've just been told, well, you owe God a death. So,
'tis not due yet. I would be loath to pay him before his day. What need I be so forward with him that call not on me? Well, 'tis no matter. Honor pricks me on. Yea, but how if honor prick me off when I come on? How then? Can honor set to a leg? No, or an arm? No, or take away the grief of a wound? No, honor hath no skill in surgery then. No. Oh, what is that honor? A word? What is in the word? What is that honor? A trim reckoning? Who hath it? Who hath it? He that died a Wednesday? Doth he feel it? No. Doth he hear it? No. 'Tis insensible then, yea, to the dead, but will it not live with the living? No. Why? Detraction will not suffer it. Therefore, I'll none of it. Honor is a mere scutcheon, and so ends my catechism.
nice, Celia. Okay, so our next performance will be by okay, Paul, you're up next. Paul, which wheel?
Let's do, for change, I'm going to do the male wheel. Just
okay. Okay, so next Paul is going to be performing Upon the King, Henry V. Act 4, Scene 1, toward the very end. This is great we have here.
Okay. Act 4, Scene 1.
Yeah, toward the end. So, and the cool thing about this, I think I don't think it was you. Somebody else did this before. They did. He gives the nice monologue that starts with "Upon the King," and then Sir Thomas Erpingham comes in and speaks with him, and then he continues after Erpingham exits. If you want to skip over that and make it continuous and include the second part, go ahead, because the part both before and after the interruption from Erpingham is both great material.
So it begins with "Upon the King."
Yes.
Okay. All right. Upon the King, let us our lives, our souls, our debts, our careful wives, our children, and our sins lay on the King. We must bear all, O hard condition, twin born with greatness, subject to the breath of every fool whose sense no more can feel but his own ringling. What in infinite heart's ease must kings neglect that private men enjoy? And what have kings that privates have not too? Save ceremony, save general ceremony? And what art thou, thou idle ceremony? What kind of God art thou that sufferest more or mortal griefs than do thy worshippers? What are thy rents? What are thy comings in? O ceremony, show me but thy worth. What is thy soul of adoration? Art thou aught else but place, decree, and form, creating awe and fear in other men? Wherein thou art less happy, being feared, than they in fearing? What drink'st thou oft instead of homage sweet, but poisoned flattery? Oh, be sick, great greatness, and bid thy ceremony give thee cure. Think'st thou the fiery fever will go out with titles blown from adulation? Will it give place to flexure and low bending? Canst thou, when thou command'st the beggar's knee, command the health of it? No, thou proud dream, that place so subtle, with a king's repose. I am a king that find thee, and I know 'tis not the balm, the scepter and the ball, the sword, the mace, the crown imperial, the intertissued robe of gold and pearl, the farced title running for the king, the throne he sits on, nor the tide of pomp that beats upon the high shore of this world. No, not all these, thrice gorgeous ceremony, not all these, laid in bed majestical, can sleep so soundly as the wretched slave who, with a body filled and vacant mind, gets him to rest, crammed with distressful bread, never sees horrid night, the child of hell, but like a lackey from the rise to set, sweats in the eye of Phoebus, and all night sleeps in Elysium. Next day after dawn doth rise and help the Hyperion to his horse, and follows so the ever-running year with profitable labor to his grave. And but for ceremony, such a wretch, winding up days in toil and nights with sleep, had the forehand and vantage of a king, the slave, a member of the country's peace, enjoys it, but in gross brain little wots what watch the king keeps to maintain the peace, whose hours the peasant best advantage. O God of battles, steel my soldiers' hearts, possess them not with fear, take from them now the sense of reckoning or the opposed numbers, pluck their hearts from them. Not today, O Lord, oh, not today. Think not upon the fault my father made, encompassing the crown. I, Richard's body, have interred new, and on it have bestowed more contrite tears than from it issued forced drops of blood. 500 poor I have in yearly pay, who twice a year their withered hands hold up toward heaven to pardon blood, and I have built 2 chantries where the sad and the solemn priests sing still for Richard's soul. More will I do, though all that I can do is nothing more, since that my penitence comes after all, imploring pardon.
Okay, very nice. Our next monologue will be performed by Henry's up next. Henry, you still with us?
Yes.
There he is. So, did you want to stick to the male wheel or?
Yes, I'll do a male. I'll do a male one, please.
Okay. Okay, so Henry's going to be performing We've already when this happens, something that's been spun has already been done. You have the option if you want to say, well, it's I want to show a different actor doing a take on the same thing, or you can ask to spin again. It's up to you.
No, I like to do this. Yeah.
Okay, so Henry will do the same one that's been done before. So Oberon, I know a bank where the wild time grows. Act 2, Scene 1. It's approximately 258 lines in.
Okay. Right, got it.
Okay, so whenever you're ready.
Okay. I know a bank where the wild thyme blows, where oxlips and the nodding violet grows, quite over-canopied with luscious woodbine, with sweet musk roses, and with eglantine. There sleeps Titania some time of the night, lulled in these flowers with dances and delight. And there the snake throws her enamelled skin weed wide enough to wrap a fairy in. And with the juice of this, I'll streak her eyes and make her full of hateful fantasies. Take thou some of it and seek through this grove. A sweet Athenian lady is in love with a disdainful youth. Anoint his eyes, but do it when the next thing he espies may be the lady. Thou shalt know the man by the Athenian garments he hath on. Effect it with some care, that he may prove more fond on her than she upon her lover. And look thou meet me ere the first cock crow.
Okay, nice. Took you a while to find it, but when you did, you
Yes,
did
sorry,
follow it.
It was further than I thought. Yeah.
Okay, our next monologue will be done by okay, Bill, you're up next.
Okay.
And you like to stick the mail wheel, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so Bill is going to be performing Iago. So what's he that says I play the villain? Act 2, Scene 3, it's toward the very end of the scene, I believe. And with what's he that says I play the villain?
Okay. I got it.
Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
And what's he then that says I play the villain? When this advice is free, I give an honest trouble to thinking, and indeed the course to win the more again. For 'tis most easy the inclining Desdemona to subdue in any honest suit. She's framed as fruitful as the free elements. And then for her to win the more, were to renounce his baptism, all seals and symbols of redeemed sin. His soul is so enfettered to her love that she may make, unmake, and do what she list, even as her appetite shall play the god with his weak function. How am I then a villain? To counsel Cassio to this parallel course directly to his good. Divinity of hell, when devils will the blackest sins put on, they do suggest at first with heavenly shows, as I do now, for whiles this foolish fool plies Desdemona to repair his fortunes, and she for him pleads strongly to the Moor, I'll pour pestilence into his ear, that she repeals him for her body's lust, and by how much she strives to do him good, she shall undo her credit with the Moor. So will I turn her virtue into pitch, and out of her own goodness make the net that shall enmesh them all.
Okay. Okay, so we got three it's myself, Danielle, and Alex are the ones that haven't gone yet. And the next performance will be by... Okay, Alex, you're up next.
Right, gender neutral, please.
What do you want? Male, stick to male or gender neutral?
Gender neutral.
Okay. Okay, so Alex is going to be performing.
Oh, Juliet.
Juliet. Oh, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Oh, awesome.
2-2. Okay. All right.
Got it? Ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, whenever you're ready, go for it.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and I will no longer be a Capulet. 'Tis but the name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What's Montague? It is not hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose, by any other word, would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain the dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and for the name which is no part of thee, take all myself. And scene.
Okay, awesome. So it's myself and Danielle are the only two who haven't gone yet, and the next one will be... Okay, so it looks like I'm last, so Danielle will go next. Danielle, which wheel would you like to spin?
The neutral, please.
Okay. Okay, so Danielle is going to be performing. Shylock. I don't think anybody's done this one yet. The Hath Not a Jew Eyes monologue.
Right, let's see. Where does merchant come?
Oh, scene one, about approximately 23 lines in.
3-1-23. I got that. For some reason, I forgot merchant was supposed to be a comedy.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why they call it the problem play. Is hard to classify. Okay, so whenever you're ready, go for it.
From that bit or from the start of that section?
Actually, I think hath not. I went with a famous line is how I label it. So
yeah.
But I think he has done blah blah blah. Why? Because basically when he starts on his rant, that's where you would go.
Let me get that lined up. Thank you. If it will feed nothing else, it will feed my revenge. He hath disgraced me, and hindered me 500,000, laughed at my losses, mocked at my gains, scorned my nation, thwarted my bargains, cooled my friends, heated mine enemies. And what's his reason? I am a Jew. Hath not a Jew eyes? Hath not a Jew hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections, passions? fed with the same food, hurt with the same weapons, subject to the same diseases, healed by the same means, warmed and cooled by the same winter and summer as a Christian is. If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge? If we are like you in the rest, we will resemble you in that. If a Jew wrong a Christian, what is his humility? Revenge. If a Christian wrong a Jew, what should his sufferance be? By Christian example, why? Revenge. The villainy you teach me, I will execute, and it shall go hard, but I will better the instruction.
Okay, awesome. So before we start our two-person scenes, I'm the last one to do a monologue, and I will be doing... the same one. We've had two people do the same one before. Today, I think let's do the same thing. I'll make an effort at the same one. It's different. 3, scene 1. Okay. To bait fish withal. If it will feed nothing else, it will feed my revenge. He hath disgraced me and hindered me 500,000, laughed at my losses, mocked at my gains, scorned my nation, thwarted my bargains, cooled my friends, hated mine enemies. And what's his reason? I am a Jew. Hath not a Jew eyes? Hath not a Jew hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections, passions? Fed with the same food, hurt with the same weapons, subject to the same diseases, healed by the same means, warmed and cooled by the same winter and summer as a Christian is? If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge? If we are like you in the rest, we will resemble you in that. If a Jew wrong a Christian, what is his humility? Revenge. If a Christian wrong a Jew, what should his sufferance be by Christian example? Why revenge? The villainy you teach me, I will execute. And it shall go hard, but I will better the instruction. Okay, that was fun, having us both do that one. Okay, so we're ready to do our two-person scenes at this point. Everyone's done a monologue. We had two monologues that two different players did different versions of, so that was interesting that we got to do that. Players, let's see who our first two partners are going to be. I think Elizabeth's the only one not here. Okay, so our first two scene partners are going to be so Celia will perform with Celia and Maggie. Before we get to women, one of them is requested to change to be a man, but there are still a couple good two female scenes if you're comfortable with that. Or
What do you, Maggie? Didn't you want to do two men?
It's fine with me. I'm really happy because I actually have to go early, so I was going to ask to go, and here I am on the spinner.
Oh.
But whatever you'd like to do, Sheila.
Let's do two men. Let's do a scene.
Okay.
Okay, so they're both going to gender bend for this. So we'll do a two male scene for this. Thing is, problem is you're both the same. Then we have to flip for who's going to be which role, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, no biggie.
We can live with that.
We can arm wrestle over it because we're men.
We did this one last time. It was good. We had two men do it. Now we'll have two women. So this is our motto is the Spanish soldier, the braggart, the loudmouth, kind of the Falstaff type character, and Moth, I believe, is the servant. Henry was very familiar with this play, and it was helpful having him to kind of explain the context. So who wants to be our motto, the Spaniard, and who wants to be Moth, the servant?
Well,
I don't know.
I'd like to do Moth.
Okay.
Okay, so Sheila.
So, Love's Labor Lost, Act 1. Let me just, I cannot. Love's Labor Lost, Act 1, Scene 2.
Okay, so whenever the two of you are ready, go for it.
Coming.
I believe it's the beginning of the scene.
Okay, I'm there. Tell me when.
Anytime.
Oh, you're ready. Okay, good. All right. Boy, what sign is it when a man of great spirit grows melancholy?
A great sign, sir, that he will look sad.
Why, sadness is one and the self-same thing, dear imp.
No, no. Oh, Lord, no, sir.
How canst thou part sadness and melancholy, my tender juvenile?
By a familiar demonstration of the working, my tough senior.
Why tough, senor? Why tough, senor?
Why tender juvenile? Why tender juvenile?
I spoke it tender juvenile as a congruent epitheton appertaining to thy young days, which we may nominate tender.
And I, tough senior, as an appurtenant title to your old time, which we may name tough.
Pretty and apt.
How mean you, sir? I pretty and my saying apt, or I apt in my saying pretty?
Thou pretty because little.
Little pretty because little?
And therefore apt because quick.
Oh, well, speak you this in my praise, master?
In thy condign praise.
I will praise an eel with the same praise.
What? That an eel is ingenious?
That an eel is quick.
I do say thou art quick in answers, thou heat'st my blood.
I am answered, sir.
I love not to be crossed.
He speaks the mere contrary. Crosses love not him.
I have promised to study 3 years with the Duke.
You may do it in an hour, sir.
Impossible.
How many is one thrice told?
I am ill at reckoning. It fitteth the spirit of a tapster.
Oh, you are a gentleman and a gamester, sir.
I confess both. They are both the varnish of a complete man.
Then I am sure you know how much the gross sum of deuce ace amounts to.
It doth amount to one more than two.
Which the base vulgar do call 3.
True.
Why, sir, is this such a piece of study? Now, here is 3 studied ere you'll thrice wink, and how easy it is to put years to the word 3 and study 3 years in 2 words. The dancing horse will tell you.
A most fine figure.
To prove you a cipher.
I will hereupon confess I am in love. And as it is base for a soldier to love, so I am in love with a base wench. If drawing my sword against the humor of affection would deliver me from the reprobate thought of it, I would take desire prisoner and ransom him to any French courtier for a new devised kersey. I think scorn to sigh. Methinks I should outswear Cupid. Comfort me, boy. What great men have been in love?
Hercules, master.
Oh, most sweet Hercules. More authority, dear boy. Name more. And sweet my child, let them be men of good repute and carriage.
Samson, master. He was a man of good carriage, great carriage, for he carried the town gates on his back like a porter, and he was in love.
Oh, well-knit Samson, strong-jointed Samson, I do excel thee in my rapier as much as thou didst me in carrying gates. I am in love, too. Who was Samson's love, dear moth?
A woman, master.
Of what complexion?
Of all the four, or the three, or the two, or one of the four.
Tell me precisely of what complexion.
Of the seawater green, sir.
Is that one of the four complexions?
As I have read, sir, and the best of them, too.
Green indeed is the color of lovers, but to have a love of that color, methinks Samson had small reason for it. He surely affected her for her wit.
It was so, sir, for she had a green wit.
My love is most immaculate white and red.
Most immaculate thoughts, master, are masked under such colors.
Define, well-educated infant.
My father's wit and my mother's tongue assist me.
Sweet invocation of a child, most pretty and pathetical.
If she be made of white and red, her faults will ne'er be known, for blushing cheeks by fault are bred, and fears by pale white shown. Then if she fear or be to blame, by this you shall not know, for still her cheeks possess the same which native she doth owe. A dangerous rhyme, master, against the reason of white and red.
Is there not a ballet, boy, of the king and the beggar?
The world was very guilty of such a ballad some 3 ages since, but I think now 'tis not to be found, or if it were, it would neither serve for the writing nor the tune.
I will have that subject newly written o'er, that I may example my digression by some mighty precedent. Boy, I do love that country girl that I took in the park with the rational hind costard. She deserves well.
To be whipped, and yet a better love than my master.
Sing, boy, my spirit grows heavy in love.
And that's great marvel, loving a light wench.
I say sing.
Forbear till the company be past.
Thank you.
Okay, very nice. No, she's not in the. Celia disappeared as soon as the scene ended. I hope she's still with us.
Yeah, I was going to turn my camera off too.
Okay, so anyway, our next 2 scene partners are going to be. Okay, Danielle is going to perform with. The next scene will be Danielle and Bill. Okay, so I'll spin the one female wheel. Okay, so Danielle and Bill are going to be performing balcony scene. We saw as a monologue, Juliet doing her monologue that starts that, but I think now we'll see the same take on that, but we'll continue it when Romeo comes in and get both of them in there. I think top of Act 2, Scene 2.
Right here.
Okay, so we're doing the whole scene?
Yeah, I believe it would be the whole scene. I believe the two of them are the only two in it. Actually, the nurse is heard crying, so to her, I believe, and you can just kind of react as if the nurse is calling to you, Danielle, and the two of you can just keep the scene going the whole way. So that cool?
Cool.
Sure.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go for it.
Works for me. Okay. He jests at scars that never felt a wound. What soft, what light through yonder window breaks. Oh, it is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief, that thou, her maid, art far more fair than she. Be not her maid, since she is envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it. Cast it off. It is my lady. Oh, it is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks, yet she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses. I will answer it. I'm too bold. 'Tis not to me she speaks. Two of the fairest stars in all the heaven, having some business, do entreat her eyes to twinkle in their spheres till they return. What if her eyes were there, and they in her head? The brightness of her cheek would shame those stars, as daylight doth a lamp. Her eyes in heaven would through the airy region stream so bright that birds would sing and think it were not night. See how she leans her cheek upon her hand. Oh, that I were a glove upon that hand, that I might touch that cheek.
Ay me.
She speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel, for thou is glorious to this night, being o'er my head as a winged messenger of heaven unto the white upturned wandering eyes of mortals that fall back to gaze on him, that when he bestrides the lazy pacing clouds and sails upon the bosom of the air.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo. Wherefore art thou, Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet.
Shall I hear more, or shall I speak at this?
'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What's Montague? It is not hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and for that name which is no part of thee, take all myself.
I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I'll be new baptized. Henceforth I never will be Romeo.
What man art thou that thus bescreened in night so stumblest on my counsel?
By a name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself because it is an enemy to thee. Had I had written, I would tear the word.
My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of that tongue's utterance, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and a Montague?
Neither, fair saint. If either thee dislike.
How camest thou hither? Tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place death, considering who thou art, if any of my kinsmen find thee here.
With love's light wings did I o'erperch these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out. What love can do, that dares love attempt. Therefore thy kinsmen are no let to me.
If they do see thee, they will murder thee.
Alack, there lies more peril in thine eye than 20 of their swords. Look thou but sweet, and I am proof against their enmity.
I would not for the world they saw thee here.
I have night's cloak to hide me from their sight, and but thou love me, let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate than death prorogued, wanting thy love.
By whose direction foundst thou out this place?
By love, who first did prompt me to inquire. He lent me counsel, and I lent him eyes. I am no pilot, yet wert thou as far as that vast shore washed with the farthest sea, I would adventure for such merchandise.
Thou know'st the mask of night is on my face, else would a maiden blush bepaint my cheek for that which thou hast heard me speak tonight. Fain would I dwell on form, fain deny what I have spoke. But farewell compliment. Dost thou love me? I know thou wilt say aye, and I will take thy word. Yet if thou swearst, thou mayst prove false. At lovers' perjuries, they say, Jove laughs. Oh, gentle Romeo, if thou dost love, pronounce it faithfully. Or if thou thinkst I am too quickly won, I'll frown and be perverse and say thee nay, so thou wilt woo, but else not for the world. In truth, fair Montague, I am too fond, and therefore thou mayst think my haviour light, but trust me, gentleman, I'll prove more true than those that have more cunning to be strange. I should have been more strange, I must confess, but that thou overheardst ere I was ware my true love's passion. Therefore, pardon me, and not impute this yielding to light love, which the dark night hath so discovered.
Lady, by yonder blessed moon, I swear that tips with silver all these fruit tree tops.
Oh, swear not by the moon, the inconstant moon, that monthly changes in her circled orb, lest that thy love prove likewise variable.
What shall I swear by?
Do not swear at all. Or, if thou wilt, swear by thy gracious self, which is the god of my idolatry, and I'll believe thee.
If my heart's dear love...
Well, do not swear. Although I joy in thee, I have no joy of this contract tonight. It is too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like the lightning which doth cease to be ere one can say it lightens. Sweet, good night. This bud of love, by summer's ripening breath, may prove a beauteous flower when next we meet. Good night. Good night. A sweet repose and rest come to thy heart as that within my breast.
Oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied?
What satisfaction canst thou have tonight?
The exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine.
I gave thee mine before thou didst request it, and yet I would it were to give again.
Wouldst thou withdraw it? For what purpose, love?
But to be frank and give it thee again. And yet I wish but for the thing I have. My bounty is as boundless as the sea, my love as deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both are infinite. Oh, I hear some noise within. Dear love, adieu. Anon, good nurse. Sweet Montague, be true. Stay but a little. I will come again.
Oh, blessed night. I am afeard being in night. All this is but a dream. Too flattering sweet to be substantial.
Oh, 3 words, dear Romeo, and good night indeed. If that thy bent of love be honourable, thy purpose marriage, send me word tomorrow by one that I'll procure to come to thee, where and what time thou wilt perform the rite, and all my fortunes at thy foot I'll lay, and follow thee, my lord, throughout the world. Oh, I come anon, but if thou means not well, I do beseech thee, by and by I come, to cease thy suit, and leave me to my grief. Tomorrow will I send.
So thrive my soul.
1,000 times good night.
1,000 times the worst to want thy light. Love goes toward love as schoolboys from their books, but love from love toward school with heavy looks.
Romeo! Oh, for a falconer's voice to lure this tassel gentle back again. Bondage is hoarse and may not speak aloud, else would I tear the cave where echo lies and make her airy tongue more hoarse than mine with repetition of my Romeo's name.
It is my soul that calls upon my name. How silver sweet sounds lovers' tongues by night, like softest music to attending ears.
Romeo!
My dear,
At what o'clock tomorrow shall I send to thee?
at the hour of 9.
I will not fail. 'Tis 20 years till then. I have forgot why I did call thee back.
No, let me stand here till thou remember it.
Oh, I shall forget to have thee still stand there, remembering how I love thy company.
And I'll stay to have thee still forget, forgetting any other home but this.
Oh, but 'tis almost morning. I would have thee gone, and yet no further than a wanton's bird who lets it hop a little from her hand, like a poor prisoner in his twisted gyves, and with a silken thread plucks it back again, so loving jealous of his liberty.
I would I were thy bird.
Oh, sweet, so would I. Yet I should kill thee with much cherishing. Good night. Good night. Oh, parting is such sweet sorrow. I shall say good night till it be morrow.
Sweet dwell upon thine eyes, peace in thy breast. Would I were sleep and peace so sweet to rest. Hence will I go to my ghostly father's cell, his help to crave and my dear hap to tell.
Love it. That's great. I also like the
Thank you, Bill. I enjoyed that.
exits and so forth to make it work. That's really awesome. And that's such a great scene. Okay, so we've got 4 players left. So we got 2 more scenes to do. Let's see how the players are going to pair up for the next 2 scenes. So Henry will perform with so it'll be Henry and Alex, and then it'll be me and Paul. So I'll spin the 2 male scene for you guys. Okay, so Henry and Alex are going to do
Henry.
Henry VI, Part 3. Okay, this is Richard, and I think some productions of Richard III even try to backdate it and put this scene, at least the one that I was in. This is kind of part of Richard III. I mean, he's soon to be Richard III, where he comes, where Henry VI is prisoner, and he comes against his brother, the king's wishes to have their common enemy, to kill their common enemy. Do either of you have preference for who's going to be King Henry VI and who's going to be Richard, soon to be King Richard III?
I'm fine either way.
I'll do Richard then, if that's the...
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Act 5, Scene 6.
6, 3, 5, 6. Okay.
For the very end of Henry VI, Part 3.
What's the act and scene?
It's Act 5, Scene 6.
Act 5.
Henry VI.
Scene 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Which version are you using, Alex? MIT?
No, play Shakespeare.com.
Oh, okay.
But I still don't find a scene with Richard and King Henry.
Well, that'll probably be much the same.
I believe it might. They might call him Gloucester, and he's
Okay.
he's Richard, Duke of Gloucester, who will become King Henry III. So some things will list that character as Duke of Gloucester or just Gloucester. That would be who it is.
All right, then it's the whole scene basically.
Well, let's just go with what I've got, and then
okay,
it should be much the same.
Okay, so you guys are both ready with this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Good day, my lord. What? Good day, my lord. What? At your book so hard?
I am a good lord. My lord, I should say rather, 'tis sin to flatter. Good was little better. Good Gloucester and good devil were alike, and both preposterous. Therefore, not good lord.
Sirrah, leave us to ourselves, we must confer.
So flies the reckless shepherd from the wolf. So first the harmless sheep doth yield his fleece, and next his throat unto the butcher's knife. What scene of death had Roscius now to act?
Suspicion always haunts the guilty mind. The thief doth fear each bush and officer.
The bird that had been limed in a bush with trembling wings misdoubted every bush. And I, the hapless male to one sweet bird, have now the fatal object in my eye, where my poor young was limed and caught and killed.
Why, what a peevish fool was that of Crete that taught his son the office of a fowl? And yet, for all his wings, the fool was drowned.
I, Daedalus, my poor boy, Icarus, thy father, Minos, that denied our course, the sun that seared the wings of my sweet boy, thy brother Edward, and thyself, the sea, whose envious gulf did swallow up his wife, his life. Ah, kill me with thy weapon, not with words. My breast can better brook the dagger's point than can my ear that tragic history. But wherefore dost thou come? Is't for my life?
Think'st thou I am an executioner?
A prosecutor, I am sure thou art. If murdering innocents be executing, why then thou art an executioner.
Thy son I killed for his presumption.
Hadst thou been killed when first thou didst presume, thou hadst not lived to kill a son of mine. And thus I prophesy that many a thousand which now mistrust no parcel of my fear, and many an old man's sigh, and many a widow's, and many an orphan water-standing eye, men for their sons, wives, and for their husbands, orphans for their parents' timeless death, shall rue the hour that ever thou wast born. They all shrieked at thy birth and evil sign. The night crowd cried, abiding luckless time. Dogs howled, and a hideous tempest shook down trees. The raven rooked her on the chimney's top, and chattering pies in dismal discord sang. Thy mother felt more than a mother's pain, and yet brought forth less than a mother's hope. To wit, an indigested and deformed lamb, not like the fruit of such a goodly tree. Teeth hadst thou in thy head when thou wast born, to signify thou canst to bite the world. And if the rest be true which I have heard, thou canst.
I'll hear no more. Die, prophet, in thy speech! Ah! For this amongst the rest was I ordained.
Aye, and for much more slaughter after this. O God, forgive my sins and pardon thee.
What? Will the aspiring blood of Lancaster sink in the ground? I thought it would have mounted. See how my sword weeps for the poor king's death. Oh, may such purple tears be always shed from those that wish the downfall of our house. If any spark of life be yet remaining, down to hell, and say I sent thee hither. Ah! I that have neither pity, love, nor fear. Indeed, 'tis true that Henry told me of, For I have often heard my mother say, I came into the world with my legs forward. Had I not reason, think ye, to make haste, to seek their ruin that usurped our right? The midwife wondered, and the women cried, Oh, Jesu bless us, he is born with teeth. And so I was, which plainly signified that I should snarl and bite and play the dog. Then, since the heavens have shaped my body so, let hell make crooked my mind to answer it. I have no brother, I am like no brother. And this word love, which greybeards call divine, be resident in men like one another and not in me. I am myself alone. Clarence, beware, thou keep'st me from the light. But I will sort a pitchy day for thee, for I will buzz abroad such prophecies that Edward shall be fearful of his life, and then, to purge his fear, I'll be thy death. King Henry and the prince his son are gone. Clarence, thy turn is next. And then the rest, counting myself but bad till I be best. I'll throw thy body in another room and triumph, Henry, in thy day of doom. End of scene.
Okay, great. You know, it's good to see this scene because you know, Richard III is one of the most popular Shakespeare plays. It's performed a lot. The Henry VI trilogy that precedes it is often forgotten, and yet a lot of what goes on in there shows scenes like this. This, you know, Richard scheming for the crown did not begin with the start of Richard III. So it's good to see, you know, his plots being laid into motion right here as well. So
yeah, what he just said actually is pretty much the same as the beginning of Richard III. I mean,
it's not just the production I was in a couple years ago. It was also the Olivier's film version. He didn't include this scene, but a lot of the lines that Richard reads in that Richard III, he did an adaptation of the script he took from the play that you guys were just performing, you know, in some of Richard's monologues, so that you could see how the scheming for the crown.
That was a great scene. Thank you, Alex, too. That was fun.
Thank you, too.
Okay, great. So one more, Paul and I are the only two that don't perform, so we will perform together, and Paul and I are going to do I've done this twice before. If you don't mind, I'd like to spin again, Paul.
That's fine.
Last week I did I had done Valentine's.
I think this has come up several times. Yeah.
The wheel sticks on the same thing often. I spent it a second time, so I switched the role I had played when we did this at our last game. Henry IV, Part 2. Okay, Prince Henry and the King. I believe this. Oh yeah, this is a great scene. This is the deathbed scene, where the prince takes the crown prematurely. Do you have a preference at all?
No. Let's see. That's Act 4, Scene 5.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Part 2.
Oops, got the wrong play open.
There we go. Scene 5. Act 4, Scene 5. Act 4.
Okay, I'll take.
Wait, I'm lost.
It's
Henry the Fourth, Part 2, Act 4, Scene 5.
Yeah. With the wherefore did he take the crown? You know, I'll be Prince Henry for this one.
Oh wow, I'm not finding it. What?
It's
Act Henry the Fourth, Part 2, Act 4, Scene 5, right?
Yeah, toward the end.
What's the line?
Let's see. King Henry says, "But wherefore did he take away the crown? Lo, well, let's take it from there. But wherefore you were asleep. I thought I took the crown off your head, off the pillow. I thought you were dead, and then you were shocked that I took you. Like I can't even wait for you to die."
Okay.
Take it from wherefore did he take the crown? I re-enter, lo, where he comes. Come hither to me, Harry. And I'll say, I never thought to hear you speak again. And you say, I wish was father, Harry, to that thought.
Okay.
Lecture me about. So yeah, we take it from, but wherefore did he take away the crown?
Okay. All right. I'm there.
You found it?
Yeah, let me.
Okay. So whenever you're ready, go.
But wherefore did he take away the crown? Lo, where he comes. Come hither to me, Harry. Depart the chamber. Leave us here alone.
I never thought to hear you speak again.
Thy wish was father, Henry, to thy thought. I stay too long by thee. I weary thee. Dost thou so hunger for mine empty chair that thou wilt needs invest thee with my honors before thy hour be ripe? O foolish youth, thou seekst the greatness that will overwhelm thee. Stay but a little, for my cloud of dignity is held from falling with so weak a wind that it will quickly drop. My day is dim. Thou hast stolen that which after some few hours were thine without offense, and at my death thou hast sealed up my expectation. Thy life did manifest thou lovest me not, and thou wilt have me die assured of it. Thou hidst 1,000 daggers in thy thoughts, whom thou hadst whetted on thy stony heart to stab at half an hour of my life. What, canst thou not forbear half an hour? And get thee gone and dig my grave thyself, and bid the merry bells ring to thine ear that thou art crowned, not that I am dead. Let all the tears that should bedew my hearse be drops of balm to sanctify thy head. Only compound me but with forgotten dust. Give that which gave thee life unto the worms. Pluck down my officers, break my decrees, for now a time is come to mock at form. Harry the Fourth is crowned. Up vanity, down royal state. All you sage counselors, hence, and to the English court assemble now from every religion, apes of idleness. Now, neighbor confines, purge you of your scum. Have you a ruffian that will swear, drink, dance, revel the night, rob, murder, and commit the oldest sins, the newest kind of ways? Be happy, he will trouble you no more. England shall be double guilt, his treble guile. England shall give him office, honor, might, for the 5th Henry from curbed license plucks the muzzle of restraint. and the wild dog shall flesh his tooth on every innocent. Oh, my poor kingdom, sick with civil blows, when that my care could not withhold thy riots, thou wilt thou do when riots is thy care? Oh, thou wilt be a wilderness again, peopled with wolves, thou old inhabitants.
Pardon me, my liege. But for my tears, the moist impediments unto my speech, I had forestalled this dear and deep rebuke, ere you with grief had spoke that I had heard the course of it so far. There is your crown, and he that wears the crown immortally, long guard it yours. If I affect it more than as your honor and as your renown, let me no more from this obedience rise, which my most inward true and duteous spirit teacheth, this prostrate and exterior bending. God witness with me when I here came in and found no course of breath within your majesty. Cold it struck my heart. If I do feign, oh, let me in my present wildness die, and never live to show the incredulous world the noble change that I have purposed. Coming to look on you, thinking you dead, and dead almost, my liege, to think you were, I spake unto this crown as having sense, and thus upbraided it. The care on thee depending hath fed upon the body of my father. Therefore, thou best of gold art, worst of gold, other less fine in carat is more precious, preserving life in medicine portable. But thou, most fine, most honored, most renowned, hast eat thy bearer up. Thus, my most royal liege, accusing it, I put it on my head to try with it, as with an enemy that had before my face murdered my father. The quarrel of a true inheritor, but if it did infect my blood with joy or swell my thoughts to any strain of pride, if any rebel or vain spirit of mine did with the least affection of a welcome give entertainment to the might of it, let God forever keep it from my head, and make me as the poorest vassal is that doth with awe and terror kneel to it.
Oh, my son, God put it in thy mind to take it hence, that thou mightst win the more thy father's love, pleading so wisely in excuse of it. Come hither, Harry, sit thou by my bed, and hear, I think, the very latest counsel that ever I shall breathe. God knows, my son, by what a bypath and indirect crooked ways I met this crown, and I myself know well how troublesome it sat upon my head. To thee it shall descend with better quiet, better opinion, better confirmation. For all the soil of the achievement goes with me into the earth. It seemed in me but as an honor snatched with boisterous hand, and I had many living to upbraid my gain of it by their assistance, which daily grew to quarrel and to bloodshed, wounding supposed peace. All these bold fears thou seest with peril I have answered, and all my reign hath been but a scene, acting that argument, and now my death changes the mood, for what in me was purchased falls upon me in a more fairer sort. So thou the garland wear'st successively, and though thou stand'st more sure than I could do, thou art not firm enough. since griefs are green, and all my friends, which thou must make thy friends, have but their stings and teeth newly ta'en out, by whose fell working I was first advanced, and by whose power I well might lodge a fear to be again displaced, which to avoid I cut them off, and had a purpose now to lead out many to the Holy Land, lest rest and lying still might make them look too near unto my state. Therefore, my Harry, be it thy course to busy giddy minds with foreign quarrels, that action hence borne out may waste the memory of the former days. More would I, but my lungs are wasted so that strength of speech is utterly denied me. How I came by the crown, O God forgive, and grant it may with thee in true peace live.
My gracious liege, you won it, wore it, kept it, gave it me. Then plain and right must my possession be, which I, with more than with common pain, against all the world, will rightfully maintain. Okay, that was a good scene for us to do. Everyone's performed both a monologue and a scene. We'll wrap it up unless there is an announcement. I know. Let me put Sheila in this. I can't put everybody in the stream at once. So Sheila and I are both in tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern time, 12:30 Western time. It's Timon of Athens, Vincent Saya's group, the Eager Beaver Shakespeare. That's a reading. It's on Zoom. I've tried it before and I've screwed it up before. I'm going to try to link it to here so that you can watch it on this same YouTube channel if you like, or you can also just check out Vincent's link. He put it on. It's on Facebook. So check us out. Check out that performance tomorrow. Does anybody else have an upcoming performance or anything that's going to be streaming that? Or Sheila, did you have anything to add to that?
If anybody wants to participate, contact Vincent in advance. And as I said, it's a very large number of characters, so he may definitely need help tomorrow in getting all the parts filled.
Okay, great. Well, did you have an announcement? Okay, Henry has an announcement. Let me put the rest of the people in that didn't get a chance to speak just then. Henry had an announcement as well.
Yes, I was playing Richard III on Wednesday, part 1.
Oh.
And then the second half on Sunday. It's being recorded by Drunk Shakespeare, the Houston group. And so it's Richard III in the style of Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is quite fun. So in fact, it's recorded. The first recording I'll put up on my personal page, Facebook page, today, and then doing that. But it's so much fun to.
Do you have a link to that? It takes a while. I think it takes a while to process after we finish the live stream, but eventually the stream that we just did is going to be available on YouTube as a video. And when it's when it's streaming,
it'll be on YouTube. I could give you.
Yeah, but you can put once it's as a completed video. You can comment on it, and in the comments you can share the link to your thing or whatever it is that you're suggesting.
Well, it's available now. I'm actually just uploading it, but so I could put the link in or
you can if you like, you can email it to me and I will.
Right.
I can comment on my own video to tell people.
Well, it's there now. I just put it in the chat, but I think.
Okay. Yeah, the thing is, when you put it in the chat, it's on StreamYard. The participants here can see it,
Yeah.
But the people watching us on YouTube can't see those
All
chats.
right.
So
I'll send you the link. Yeah.
yes, you can either when this posts as a video, you can comment on it, or you can send me the link and I will comment and share the link to the general public.
Okay.
Great. So anybody else have announcements? Okay, so this was fun this week. Keep in mind the thing that myself and Sheila brought up, the thing Henry brought up, and as far as Shakespeare, we'll see you again next week. Same Bard time, same Bard channel.
Thanks very much, Mark. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Lovely to see everyone. Bye.